You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. Broadcasting live. Not live, I guess we are recording, but we're broadcasting.
Recording live.
We are recording live.
We're
Here
live.
we are recording live.
I can see
from
you.
the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. And we're also brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. We're talking about this article from the Miami News-Times a couple weeks ago, referring to a guy who has been given the moniker the Condo Commando. Apparently, this guy is a retired board member, and it seems like he feels that it is his mission to make sure that he gets every single fine. And, you know, there are people like that are on boards everywhere across America. They feel that it would be inconceivable with their view of the world that how can I be consistent if I don't catch everyone? So if I'm going to give it to one person, I got to give it to all. And so because of that, these kind of people really go out of the way to do that. So it's not enough
to enforce the rules.
To enforce rules.
Yeah.
Here he has a camera with him at all times, it appears, and he's getting pictures. So one person was eating a salad to go out of a box in the hallway of the association as they were either going to their car, coming to.
No, she was in the lobby. It said.
Yep, and so snapshot, boom, and there's a fine. He's catching people with anything that can be found. And at this point, it says that residents in this association are on the hook for thousands of dollars of legal fees, thanks to this Jim Lowe.
Well, thousands of dollars of fines. I don't know that there's been any legal battle yet, but he sure is going to spark one, don't you think?
Oh.
If he's not careful.
So,
yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. It's one thing to enforce the rules of your homeowners association. It's another to name yourself the police officer of the association. Now, we all have cameras with us. I have to say something, though, about the other side of this issue. The people that are leaving their doors open, the people that are sitting in the lobby eating a salad when it's not allowed, I don't think they're reacting well either. He's catching him red-handed with a photo, and he sent this photo of the lady eating the salad with a note that said, not allowed. And she said, give me a break. That's ridiculous. I don't think that's an appropriate response. I think the appropriate response is, you know what? I got caught red-handed. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I don't understand these childish reactions when you know you're in the wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you. People should not fall to a juvenile level themselves. If you disagree with the rules, you have a right to do that. You have a right to protest that, challenge it with the association, and go through a process, and it is outlined in governing documents with associations everywhere, how to go about being able to get things changed, how to get different people on the board. We talk about that
all the time.
Yeah.
Now, they do say that the building has new elevators for the first time in 50 years. He fired security guards and replaced them with cameras. Property values are on the rise. So he has saved money and improved the property for the association.
Yeah, and you know, it's none of those ideas that you're faulting him for. You know, I can understand him having a camera possibly with food because people have a brand new elevator, things look nice, there's newer carpeting. They say, you know what, we don't want it stained and looking crummy. However, the part that I think is his fault is the way that he's going about it. And that was his idea, you know, and he talked about it earlier in the article where he said, hey, I may be abrasive, and he just tossed it out like, hey, you know what, that's the way I am. And I've heard people say that all the time. Hey, I may not be the most diplomatic, but at least I'm candid. You know, they say, you get what you get with me. You know
what you see is what you get with me. That's right. You're right. That's just an excuse for bad behavior, isn't it?
It is. And you're right. That's what it is. It's an excuse for a bad behavior.
Right.
And that reminds me of that definition, an excuse, because that's what I think Jim Lowe gave was an excuse. Someone gave this definition about a week or so ago, and I thought this was so good. Tell me what you think. I heard someone say an excuse is merely a skin of a reason stuffed with a lie. Skin of a reason stuffed with a lie.
Interesting.
The way my dad would put it, he would talk about people are rationalizing. My dad said that's all only someone giving a good reason for the real reason. You know,
instead of the real reason.
The real reason,
Oh,
yeah.
my.
There's a real reason. There's
Yeah.
a real.
Yeah.
There is something else that's behind this
Yeah.
that causes Jim Lowe to be the way Jim Lowe is.
That's right. And all his friends, or not friends, all his neighbors suspect that he's enjoying it. I think is the unspoken thing here. He's getting a kick out of this, being the Gestapo. Don't you think that's kind of the unspoken issue here?
There is that element that does happen in
Yeah.
associations where someone all their life doesn't have a position of power or authority. They have probably been on the lower rung and being told what to do, and all of a sudden now, here comes this position, this volunteer position, and now they are the president. They are on the board, and they kind of like it.
Yeah,
they kind of.
Right. I have to correct myself here. On the second page, I realized you're right. There were legal fees, thousands of legal fees incurred by this guy because people didn't sign an agreement fast enough for him. He got the attorney involved, and then the attorney's fees were charged to the people who hadn't signed.
And that's another part. Here you have someone. We're talking about the mindset of an individual who says there's only one right way.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And so he has in his mind what it means to respond. And if it's not quick enough, boom, an attorney letter.
Crazy.
Boom. And there's just ratcheting up. People in this association, I would believe, are fuming. And I bet you there's going to be a insurrection that's going to take place. I wouldn't doubt that.
Well, the final paragraph says that Lowe doesn't take the kerfuffles personally, but he has decided not to run for the board again this April. He says, "Believe me, nobody wants to be doing what I'm doing. It's a thankless job." I have such mixed feelings about that because he's right. He's right. Generally speaking, the board members are doing a job that no one thanks them for. But he has really been doing this job
sure,
in a way.
It may be a thankless job, but you know what? At New Concepts, we give an award every year to board members and outstanding associations have just been exemplary in their role as a board president, vice president,
their service community,
because they're working as a volunteer.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, there's one person who I gave an award to just this week. Went to the association meeting just to be able to give this person some recognition. He has been the one person in their association that has been walking around and has been taking care of fines. And when he sees something that a violation takes place, he writes a letter, makes sure, and passes it on to the manager, and things go out. But I can tell you, in the 7 or 8 years that he has been, I think it's that long, been at the association and been on the board, do you know that just about everybody in the association really appreciates this person? And he has respect.
So the way he's handling it, he's doing the same job this Jim Lowe is doing.
Exactly.
He's monitoring, he's inspecting, and writing down if a neighbor has committed some offense or violated a rule. But somehow his neighbors are respecting and appreciating him for that.
Yeah, it's like the old saying. Someone said, if I got to eat crow, I don't mind. It just depends on how it's served. And so it depends on how are you serving the this information? How are you giving this person a notice? It can make all the difference in the world. And there is no excuse for being abrasive. That's not being candid. That's not being just honest. No, they're being dishonest with themselves. Because, like I said, that's just giving them a reason or an excuse for what I would call bad behavior, and I don't think it's called for at all. So that is the Condo Commando. Well, we've got just less than a minute here, but we'll begin by framing our next story that we're going to go over here, and that is in the state of Virginia. Apparently, the Supreme Court there is stating that homeowner association boards are exceeding their authority, and so there have been precedented court cases that have been set that is really changing how associations will be able to handle business. Is it the association that's exceeding their authority, or is it the state Supreme Court of Virginia that is exceeding theirs? We'll talk about this, but we'll take a break right now. We'll be back after these messages.